לילה טוב מתוקה. לילה טוב מתוק. Yeah. Man, how do I change my name here?
Huh? How do you change your name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll change your name. Go here. Press more. And then you press.
לילה טוב.
Can.
שם.
ובסלון.
תודה, ניני. תודה. Welcome, welcome. Good evening.
Cousin Adam,
Hello, good evening.
how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Fine. Hey, since we have a little bit of time to chat, since
Sure.
you are obviously an expert with the technology, what about having family gatherings every so often?
Yeah, I think that my dad and the grads and his siblings actually do something like that.
Well, let me know because my niece Noah, she's in Los Angeles with her boyfriend, and of course they know the Shapiros.
Oh, how about that? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
So I think that would really be cool. So that'd be great. I mean,
Certainly.
because I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I'll tell you anyway. I have no secrets. The last time I was in Cincinnati
Uh-huh.
was for Jacob Eden's bar mitzvah.
Oh, wow.
That was like May of 1990, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah,
Time flies.
yeah. How old are you now?
37.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about your background, where you went to school, what you majored in, what you're doing.
Yeah, I went to Indiana University and got a degree there in BA in English and Jewish Studies. I went to Vermont Law School, got a master's in environmental law and policy, and I moved to Israel back in 2010 until 2018,
Uh-huh.
where I met my wife and we had our first son. We had our first child there, our son.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
Thanks, and came back to Cincinnati. And now we're working on getting my wife her American citizenship, so we'll have American Israeli citizenship, and then we hope to go back after that. So
Wow. Where would you live?
we lived in Beersheba
Okay.
for most of the time that I was there,
Okay.
6 years, and she lived in Tel Aviv before we met, and she really loves Tel Aviv. So it's up in the air. It's kind of all
Sure, I
options
understand.
are open. So it's kind of nice.
Now, my brother Richie and his wife Zipporah, they've been married since 1979. Richie went to Israel in 76. They live in Ashkelon.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another family connection you have in Israel.
Nice connection there, and actually,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
yeah. My in-laws live pretty close by in Ashdod.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So, golly, that'd be great.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump.
When people ask me, well, where exactly in Israel, I tell them, well, it's about 1 inch from Gaza on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get much closer, but
Yeah.
can certainly
Yeah.
get close enough.
Now, in the 70s, in the early 70s, we had cousin Jeff Hooden from Niles originally, and we had cousin,
Good evening.
hi, cousin,
We had somebody join us.
yeah, that's good. We had your dad. We had not cousin Ruthie, his sister. I'm having a senior moment.
Judy.
Judy, thank you. And then I. So we had 4 of us at one time at Ohio University in 72, 73.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
I'm a cousin, Bob Jacobson, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hi, the Yofi.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you, Sharon?
I'm in Bellevue, Kentucky, actually.
Bellevue. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm
Good.
not that far.
Yeah, not that far from me.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have Henry joining us. Good evening.
Good.
Thanks for joining.
Ready to start the video?
Doing some recording this evening as well, so
Sure.
of the session. So I think I'm aiming to be about 50 minutes.
Good.
I don't hear anything. Where's the,
Folks coming in.
There's your dad,
Yep, there's my dad.
Michael. Great to see you.
Hello, Robert. Great to see you.
Yeah,
too.
great to see you.
Everybody doing well, I hope.
Thank God. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You know,
Wonderful.
this is one of the, maybe the only upside of the lockdown. We get to visit with people without being physically there.
looks like Michael's in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a, what do you call that? A filter.
It's a
I
nice
didn't notice
background.
that until you just said that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna get started then.
Okay.
We'll just see if other people come in, and if not, then it's okay
Well,
too.
just for your information, in the previous sessions of Café Vriet, there were relatively few people.
Okay. Sounds. I'm gonna be working on that. I'm gonna try to kind of get it out there on social media a little bit and see if we can get a diverse crowd in here throughout the 7 weeks. So, but thank you for letting me know. So I'm going to start here with kind of an introduction of what I'm hoping to achieve here in this 7 weeks course. The course is called Root Source Hebrew, Hebrew in Depth, an in-depth look at Hebrew words and phrases. If I have any issues with technology, I apologize ahead of time. So things taking time or out or anything, I hope, let me know, and I'll try to get Rabbi Shapira to help out. The course is the purpose of the course. Really, I'll start out with my kind of introducing myself. I think maybe kind of go over that. What my background is. So I'm Adam Ganson, Michael Ganson's son in here, and I am a lifelong Hebrew learner. I think I started learning Hebrew when I could probably just start to walk, and I continued throughout my life until this moment. And I also think that there's something really special about the Hebrew language, and I think that it's one of the things that I am personally trying to address as I'm writing this material and kind of going over and thinking about it. And I think it's a pretty basic issue, and it kind of a paradigm issue. So the first paradigm would be that so basically, so the first paradigm would be that Hebrew is the language of creation. It's the first language. It's the language. It's a mathematical language. It's a language that has, according to many rabbis, has even creative powers in the hands of human beings. So this is the construction, the pieces of construction of the entirety of existence. So that's kind of one perspective. And the other perspective is that Hebrew is another language on the language tree, that its ancestry comes from Near Eastern languages such as Akkadian, and that there's other languages that are related to it, and I think that it's kind of a paradigm issue. I'm not really sure. I haven't really come to a conclusion about which one is truth. I think that maybe they could, I don't know, but my paradigm for this course will be that Hebrew is the language of creation, that Hebrew is a language that best describes our reality and all of existence, because it's the language that everything was created in. So that's kind of my first point. That's kind of been I wanted to get across. But but really the point of this course is to look at root words. We all know that Hebrew is a root word language, and that one root word will go ahead and make up the meaning of many different types of words. And that's something that is really fascinating because it's so basic. Pretty much anything that you can do with the language, any grammatical context that you come up with will be based upon the root of the word. So I guess my goal for this course is to be able to give people that attend kind of an idea into this, and to kind of help us to kind of think about it in a little bit more deeper way, and also to be able to go ahead and make those connections afterwards. So one of the things that everybody with me right now? Am I clear? Okay, thank you. Okay. So some of the questions that I want to think about are, why does Hebrew have root words? How do root words operate in Hebrew? And what does the root of a word reveal? And one of the images that I'd like to offer is actually to think about these root words as actual roots. And kind of roots are kind of a very, obviously they're part of the plant. They spread out, they gain nutrients from the ground, they bring up water into the base of the plant, but they also consist of many different types of organisms that help to kind of make the entire help to make the entire whole of the plant healthy, and also the surrounding area. So I think that's kind of an interesting approach when we're looking at root words. How does it operate in an ecosystem? So I think I already went over this point that it's a matter of belief. Hebrew is the language of creation, and in this framework, in order to understand nature better, understanding Hebrew in its root words offers one way to understand the world around us in a better way. And also we have the mathematical nature of Hebrew as well, which is summed up in Gematria. Gematria, just kind of a basic overview. We'll go over it real quick, but is the idea that every letter represents a number, and different combinations of letters represent different combinations of numbers, and so we can kind of derive meaning from looking at how words are connected through Gematria as well. So just a short review, we have the alphabet here. We have Aleph through Yud, which is 1 through 10, and then it goes from Kaf until Tzadik, 20 through 90, and then Kuf at 100, Resh 200, Shin 300, Af 400. So again, each letter has a corresponding number. It's combined in various words and phrases, and Gematria makes it possible to connect two words, have the same letters, but in a different order. So I'll have some examples of that coming up in the course, and it kind of offers a little bit of a stretch way to think about it. I just want to make a distinction here between Gematria and numerology, because Gematria really is looking at the letters. What's the value of the letter, and how does that offer meaning, as opposed to numerology, which takes the numbers combines them, and uses other methods to extract meaning out of that as well. So there is a bit of a distinction between Gematria and numerology. So again, I think my greater hope for this course is that I would like to bring a broader understanding. I'd like to kind of create some tools to be able to look at the Hebrew language, look at the texts, look at even modern, even the way that modern Hebrew is used, and to be able to kind of think about it in a different way. I just want to kind of add a little story that I had with my wife, and kind of shows a little bit of the unique nature that I think people who learn Hebrew have. One time we were discussing somebody who was really just had a bitter life, and bitter is mar. So when we were discussing that, I asked her, so did she die of malmeret? And she said, what are you talking about? What is malmeret? So, did she die of being bitter? Malmeret. It's like a disease, like turn mar into some kind of disease. And she had no idea what I was talking about, but she loved the phrase, and she thought that I should write to the Academy of the Hebrew language to see if they'd like it too. But I think that kind of the outside perspective, even with kind of making a mistake, can add some kind of a meaning behind the language. So that's kind of my introduction. I'm going to go right into. Anybody want to say anything? So let me go ahead and get my other.
Let's just start learning.
Right. That was my introduction to the course. Okay, so the first, can you still see my screen here? Hello? Let's see. Can't see the screen? Hold on. All right, so I decided to do, you see now?
A blank screen.
Blank screen.
Mazal Tov.
Again, you're back again.
Mazal Tov. Mazel Tov. So the first course here, the first lesson I wanted to do on Mazel Tov. I think Mazel Tov is kind of this widely known phrase. It's something that's used all the time. And I wanted to kind of go into it, think about some of the meanings, and use it as my first root word discussion here. So so what does Mazel Tov mean? Anybody?
Congratulations. Mazal means luck, and Tov means good.
Okay, thank you. Absolutely, and I think that's like the most widely thought about and widely known meaning of it. Obviously, we go into a simcha, we say Mazel Tov. And so the root, the word mazal, and I think I'm gonna, also I'm gonna focus in here on mazal, just to clarify, and kind of a little bit less on the tov aspect in this lesson here. So the root for the word mazal is derived from zayin lamed, or nazal. And we have a lot of associative words that we can derive from zayin lamed. So first here is from the scripture. And here we have in Melachim Bet Kaf Gimel Pesuk Hey, והשפיט את הכמרים אשר נתנו מלכי יהודה, ויקטר בבמות בערי יהודה, מסיבי ירושלים, ואת המקטרים לבעל, לשמש ולירח ולמזלות ולכל צבא השמיים. And his translation is, he suppressed the idolatrous priests who the kings of Judah had appointed to make offerings to shrines in the towns of Judah and in the environs of Jerusalem, and those who made offerings to Baal, to the sun and moon and constellations, all the host of heaven. So here, we're talking, so here in the scripture, or when Mazal appears, it's talking about the constellations. And then we have its second possible appearance in the scriptures, which is Hatutzi Mazarot Bito V'aish al Banea Tenachem. And again, it's referring to the constellations that takes out the constellations in their due time. So immediately here, there's something's off. And what we know well as luck appears originally in the scriptures as constellations. So in Akkadian, the word manzaztu means a place of a star. Izizu means to stand. In Arabic, inzal means to send. So I would kind of want to think about what are the different connections to that as well. So
In the second situte from Bavli, go back up. Iyov Lamed Chet, it says Mazarot. So what's the shoresh there?
Oh, that's very interesting. I think that, thank you for pointing that out. And I think that in this particular instance, the Lamed and the Reish are interchangeable. Now, I don't know why that is. Something we see it sometimes in the actual scripture where something is like, something is missing and we pronounce it a different way. In this way, I think it's pronounced Mazarot. But it is referring to the constellations. That is quite muzal. I don't know. It's quite strange. I think that it may be, I don't have the explanation for you.
Maybe we need to look it up in Ibn Shoshan in the concordance.
Yeah. But I know that in this context it's interchangeable. This is what it's referring to, the constellations. So then we have rabbinical references, which kind of gets a little bit closer to the idea of mazal, the idea of luck. Amar la HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Batei Shanim Eser Mazalot Barati Barakia. So this one's talking about in the Bavli, it's talking about the constellations. Lo Mazal Yom Gorem Ela Mazal Sha'a Gorem. So in this one, it's a little bit maybe talking about more about luck, because this one says not Lo Mazal Yom. It's not about the luck of the day. Rather, it's about the luck of the hour. That's the cause. And Rabbi Yochanan Amar En Mazal Yisrael. So that's kind of strange. Why does Israel not have any mazal? And if you think mazal, and if mazal means luck, then why would Rabbi Yochanan why would Rabbi Yochanan say En Mazal Yisrael? So we have here kind of the modern Hebrew uses of mazal and the Zayin Lamed connections here. So we have the word mazal, which really does mean congratulations or luck. And then it has mazal. We have the word mazalot, which is used in the context of the zodiac, which somebody wants to know what your sign is. Let's say, "Ma mazal shecha," "Ma mazal shecha." And then we have these words that are all connected to descending. So we have nozel, which means liquid, linzol, which is to drip or to flow. Nizila is a leak. Nozlim is liquids, like if you're in the hospital, you get nozlim if you need an IV and be hydrated. Zilzul is to degrade or to denigrate. Lezalzel is the action verb for that. Zol is cheap. Lozil means to make something cheaper. Zalag, lizlog is to gulp something down. Like gulp a drink down. Lizlol is to eat excessively. And then we have here another word I put in, I don't know if this is one connected, but azazel is, where they send the goat. So again, I just translated all of the words here. Is that any questions with that so far?
It doesn't even look like a root. It
What do you
looks
mean by that?
Different trees or different, there's different plants growing. It doesn't look like it's coming from one root, and I don't see what the connection is between Mazel and Zalig. Gulp.
Nuzlim?
Zayin Lamed Gimel.
Oh, zalag.
Zalag.
Right. So
I don't
the
see
root
how
the
that's
word
rooted together.
so the root word here that we're focusing on is the zayin lamed. And that's kind of what our base is for, and then we can kind of play with it in terms of what other combinations can be added to it in order to make up these different meanings. But so you have here, you see my pointer? Do you see that or no? Okay, so the zayin lamed is the base here. This is the root that we're focusing on, that makes up all these different words.
Yes, I understand, but what's the similarity between that Zayin Lamed with the Gimel and the Mem Zayin Lamed?
Pardon?
I'm not getting the Zayin Lamed root. And is there a common translation for it?
The mem isn't part of the root, it's part of the morphology. It's like an abstract noun.
Right,
So
Zayin
the
Lamed.
Shorish is Zayin Lamed, but I don't understand that usually, there are some roots that are only 2 letters. Most of the roots in Hebrew are 3 letters. So would it be that all words that have, like, let's say you're gonna say I don't know, lichtov, or so you have, in other words, if you have words where the first 2 letters, the pei apoal and the ayin apoal are the same, but the lamed apoal are different, are you saying that because the pei apoal and the ayin apoal are the same, that it doesn't matter what the final letter of the root is, that the first 2 letters are saying that it's all from the same shorish? Or
Yeah, and in effect, that is what I'm kind of trying to say. And what I'd like to also point out here is that I am not so basically I think that the commonality between words, between root words as well, and the connection with letters as well. I think even if we could break it down, and actually I'd like to do a course on just letters, but I think even if we break down the letters, that we can even extract meaning from letters as well. So I think that as we, so different combinations of the root letters in relationship to related words have connected meanings. I think that's kind of what my argument is in this, and it may be an argument that is not based in grammar or in
אז הגישה שלך זה מיסטי ולא כבלשן. זה מה שאתה...
yeah, I think that would be
Okay.
yeah, I think the mystical aspect is really what I'm trying to focus on here. And you know, and I may, you know what, and I may in my imagination, in my kind of imaginative perspective on this, I may make mistakes, but I also am hoping for an open mind in order to think about it. But yeah, I mean, but so the way I thought about it was that the Zayin Lamed is connected with the Zayin Lamed of Zalag is connected, or Zliga is connected to the Zayin Lamed of Mazal, Mazalot, Nozel. It has the same sound, it has the same letter combinations, and so on. I don't know if it's a good answer, but all right. So I want to talk about the Galgal Mazalot. So have you ever really wondered why horoscopes start in the middle of one month and end in the middle of the next? And I think that the reason for that is because the Gregorian zodiac is based upon the Hebrew months. So the zodiac represents the entire Hebrew calendar, and why is this root word of Nazal or Zayin Lamed connected to the signs of the zodiac? So yeah, so even if you look at a zodiac representation, you see that Nisan is Taleh, it's Aries, and that's the beginning of the year, and the end of the year ends with Dagim or Pisces, and each month has its own particular connection. So, for instance, month of Tishrei is Moznaim, or what is Moznaim? It's the scales. So I forget what it is in Hebrew, but which makes sense for Tishrei to have the sign of the scales, and for Nisan to have the sign of the Paschal Lamb, and Shvat to have the sign of the water-giving bucket. So this kind of, so again, we're going further into the Galgal Mazalot, the zodiac. Each person is born in a particular month and is assigned their particular mazal. And your mazal is your natural tendency, and it's a channel through which everything that happens to you comes to you. So the source of everything that happens through a lifetime comes from God, and everything flows from above. And therefore, mazal has a liquid property, and it fits properly within the broader semantics. So when you wish someone Mazal Tov, you're wishing them that their mazal will come down to them that will be beneficial to them. Mazal is particularly auspicious at life-changing events. And so the liquid nature of Mazal means that it will naturally follow the path of least resistance. It will always flow in the direction of the channel set out before it. However, it's very easily manipulated, and it's why the newspaper horoscope is so horribly and cynically off. Water can be diverted, it can be dammed, it can be slowed, quickened, pumped upstream, and so can Mazal, being manipulated by dreams, goals, aspirations, interpersonal relationships, and surprise events in life. The flow is constant, but the manipulation of the flow is our agency in the world. I got this particular piece here out of a siddur, and this is something that is said on a daily basis, and each of the days has their particular sign for, and also their particular angels and their particular planets as well. So when you read this, you should not say angels' names out loud. But this is a recitation said before entering the synagogue. And it shows that each month carries its own symbols and senses and can guide us in a particular aspect to self-improve throughout the year. So even if you have like your even if you're in your mazal, it could be an especially auspicious time for you, better or for worse. But there is one more aspect about this that I wanted to mention before we go on about Mazal Gagal Mazalot, is that the rabbis say that Israel doesn't have Mazal. And why does Israel not have Mazal? Well, because the thought is that all the nations have their own Mazal. All of the nations have their own stars, they have their own angels. But since Israel has a special relationship, there is no Mazal, meaning that we could normally have Mazal, whether it's Mazal Tov or whatever other Mazal, whatever it may be, but our closeness of relationship with God allows us to easily overcome any Mazal Mishmayim. So the reason why the rabbis say Israel doesn't have Mazal is because of the extraordinary way that we're able to rise above whatever Mazal would come our way.
We have destiny, not Mazal.
Good way to say it.
Yeah. Thank you.
So then, going from that kind of big idea of, this divine abundance coming from above comes this, these vernacular everyday words. I've got a leak in my bathroom, which means the labampatia. And this kind of stems from the liquid nature of the word. And when you have a cold, you have nazelet. When you're dehydrated, you need nuzlim b'infusia, which is, infusia is not Hebrew. In all these cases, nazal refers to the very physical liquid nature of these materials. There are other, and since kind of we're thinking about, this going from a high place to a low place, that again, these words that are connected to and sound to mazal are always also referring to a low state. So lo zil, zol is to reduce value, again to lizalzel is to degrade, zol is cheap, lizlol is to eat gluttonously, lizlog to gulp down, azazel is hell, is a word for hell in the vernacular. So all these words have a common root of a downward motion and low points. Are there any other associations with these terms? Okay. Okay, so back to Mazal Tov. Getting back to our original phrase, Mazal Tov. I think that as I mentioned before, I wasn't going to deal too much with Tov, but Tov is the crucial part of the statement. Lativ is to increase goodness, positive energy, and empathy. The simple question of Tov Lecha means, is everything all right with you? Is life good for you? During a moment of soul searching reveals a deeper meaning with people, places, and activities are good for you. And I think that when you're talking about Mazal Tov, it's important to put the emphasis on Tov, because we see that anything can flow down towards you, but we want to hope that it's Tov, that's good. Okay, so here's a little piece from what the rabbis mentioned. And I think I already mentioned this point, that Israel does not have mazal, but we can go over it again, if you don't mind. אף על פי שהמסורת היהודית מכירה במזלות, מכל מקום על פי תורה, אסור ליהודי לעשות מעשה רק על פי המזלות, מה שהמזלות מראים. כי בורא עולם הוא בורא המזלות, קבע שישראל מעל המזל. על כן, אם אפילו לפי המזל היה צריך לצאת משהו לא טוב, מכל מקום, אם נתפלל לקדוש ברוך הוא, אז ברור לנו שכאשר הוא ישמע את תפילתנו, הוא יהפוך לנו את כל השפעת המזל לטוב. אין לנו לעשות מעשה על פי המזלות, אלא על פי ההלכה של התורה ששייכת בכל מצב. Some folks on. So what it says is that according to the Jewish tradition, sorry about that, lost my train of thought. לכן המנהג אצל היהודים להגיד תמיד מזל טוב, כי אין יהודי דואג בשום פעם למזל לא טוב. Even though the Jewish tradition recognizes that the mazalot, recognizes the mazalot, every place in the Torah forbids a Jew to make decisions based upon what the zodiac shows, because the creator of the universe is also the creator of the zodiac, and has set that Israel is above the zodiac. And thus, even though according to the zodiac that some lo tov happen in every place that we pray to the Holy One, it's clear to us that when he hears our prayer, he will turn off the influence to Tov. Therefore, we shouldn't make a decision based upon the zodiac, rather according to halakha that belongs in every situation. Therefore, a custom emerged among Jews to always say Mazal Tov, because there's not a Jew that worries ever about Mazal Lo Tov. And that's from an article in Hidabrut, where I got that from. I think I'm coming close to the end here. My computer's giving me a little technical issue, sorry. So there's just some phrases here that I wanted to end the presentation with, and that was, of course, the Mazal Tov. We have Yesh lo yoter mazal misechel. I spelled sechel wrong. Mazal shigati b'zman. So Yesh lo yoter mazal misechel means he's got more luck than brains. Mazal shigati b'zman, it's a real luck that I got here in time. And Ma mazal shcha, what's your sign? So those are just kind of some of the Hebrew phrases that came up. So that's the what I had about Mazal. Any thoughts at this point?
I certainly see the connection with the Shekhinah. while you can't make decisions on zodiac, I would imagine you could still function though at certain times, sort of like Tish B'Av. I don't schedule any business during Tish B'Av because I don't want to have bad luck. So I would imagine there are certain times that are during zodiac that I would. I mean, do I really believe that I would have bad luck? I mean, who's going to take the chance? Is kind of what I'm saying.
I
Yeah,
think
please.
I think it's interesting that people, particularly in the Orthodox community, will name children Mazel and also Tova.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you want to kind of bring that to your child, you want to bring it to your family.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to bring the negative side of Mazel. Well, no, I guess it's not Mazel, Nozzle.
Right.
I once said to a pregnant friend, Mazal Tov, in Hebrew, an Israeli, and they said, no, you say Basha'a Tova, not Mazel Tov at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's something to that as well. You want
Why is that?
Shah Tova means in a good hour. So what you're saying, the Mazal Tov would be that it's already come down, but it hasn't already come down. It's still cooking. So you have B'Shah Tova, the Ichul, the wish is in a good hour, that it should be in a good hour.
Okay.
That's a great point. I really like this one. I think that it says a lot. I think that it's kind of a really interesting connection to this whole mystical world of kind of what I wanted to explore with this, and especially with the Mazalot. I think that it's just so fascinating to see depictions of the Mazal of the zodiac. To see, when you go, it's amazing to just go through the months and to find out the different aspects of that month based upon what's going on in our Jewish lives, what's going on in nature.
For instance, what's going on now?
Iyar is Taurus. It's the shoal. It's the ox. And the ox is really agricultural. It's a very agricultural month. One of the things that I heard about Iyar this month was Ani Adonai Rofecha, which is I God am your healer. So I think that's another thing to connect to the month. But it's the month of Taurus. It's the month of Shol. We're in the middle of the Omer, so we don't have really any holidays yet. Sivan coming up is Gemini. So that's the month that the Torah was given the first time. So that's thinking about it. Torah was given twice, so makes sense. Gemini, it's good representation. So that's kind of one of the things I wanted to encourage as well in this time, is a little bit of creative thinking as well. And there may be things that we say, no, absolutely not, we can't. We cannot cross this border. This is a totally different meaning, and I'm definitely all up for that. But I think that one of the aspects of this course that I wanted to bring was to kind of think about it creatively, think and kind of open our minds, and maybe kind of break some rules, break some grammatical rules to get some deeper meaning. I hope it's all right with everybody.
Sure.
I wish you much mazel.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so I think that pretty much, I mean, this is kind of the length of the courses. I think it's going to be around 45, 50 minutes, depending how much I have in there. But unless there's any other comments or questions or anything else, I think we could adjourn for today.
טוב, תודה רבה, להתראות בשבוע הבא.
Just
Okay,
on a
great.
personal-
Yeah,
Just on a personal note, would you please send me the link the next time the family gets together for a virtual meeting?
yeah, absolutely. Talk to my dad
That'd be
about that.
great.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I have some Cincinnati connections in Charlotte, but I'll save them for the family at large.
Great.
Keep you in suspense.
Hey, thank you very much for
Great.
joining
Thank you so
today.
much. Toda
A
raba.
real pleasure.
Yes, you call.
Thanks, Koch.